Hi, and welcome to Movified. I'm your host, Mark Hershey, with Sans Transfer, located in Vancouver, British Columbia. Today's episode, I have two amazing individuals, a gorgeous couple that are married and run a moving company. I'd love for them to introduce themselves. Why don't you go ahead and start it off, Landon?
Hi, I'm Landon with Miracle Movers out of Utah.
I am Amanda. I'm born and raised in California. I say that, but I've been all over, really. I have a lot of personal moving experience. So,
Oh, perfect. So you're a shoe-in to be in the moving industry.
yeah. Yep, I sure am. I can empathize with our clients, that's for sure.
Oh, I bet. Well, that kind of jumps into my first question, right? Which is, what led you to start a moving company in Utah?
Yeah, so I started the company about 6 months before we started dating back in 2018. I've always had the entrepreneurial bug ever since I was a young kid. You know, I had lemonade stands, I was mowing neighbors' yards. I lived next to a golf course, so I'd fish balls out of the river and sell it back to the golfers. And so I always had that thing and as I grew older, it grew along with me, and the urge, and I knew that I like the urge to be a business owner, work for myself, whatever it may be. You know, that the more that grew, the less and less satisfied I became with working a normal job, until I discovered moving with a friend of like an acquaintance of mine was moving some people, and he's like, hey, you know, if you want to come help us. And I absolutely fell in love with it. The satisfaction, like the gratitude that our customers had for us coming in, like, you know, we were given hugs. I mean, this was pre-COVID, you
Sure.
know, and it was
When
just
hugs were acceptable.
it was absolutely like infectious. And I finally found something where I can be of service to people and also, you know, provide for myself and other people. So
Nice.
I was hooked, man. I love it. I love moving.
And did you grow up in Utah?
I did, yes. Born and raised in Salt Lake City, Utah. So I know the
Okay.
area really well. I know the demographic really well, and I'm very familiar with this area.
Sure, gotcha. And then Amanda, you were saying that you were California and you're all over the place. So when you met Landon, you're like, here's this guy who's got a moving company. I better get buckling up here to help out, or
It's kind of a funny story because, like, I have a lot of trauma in my childhood from moving. You know, I had a corporate dad that we were moving like every 2 to 3 years. So, you know, when I say I'm from California, I was there for a short period of time, you know, in my earlier years, but I bebopped all over the place. I've done plenty of interstate moves. And so I feel that, you know, I kind of had a resentment against moving. And now here I am, like,
and here
a
you are.
co-owner in a moving company. So I think it's kind of ironic and funny in that sense. But, you know, I think that's really an advantage just because I can really empathize with our clients and I know like how hard it is and like how it feels. So,
Gotcha. Right.
Moving sucks, right? So,
Sure.
I mean, our main mission is just to always, like, we treat our clients like family, and I get so like emotionally attached to everyone. And I think that's just because I've been there. I know what you feel. So
I know what it's like to pack up this house. I understand.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm so sorry.
Which is great. You know, it's one of those things where when we talk about training and we're training employees, we're training individuals, when you have lived that experience,
Right.
you know, and had moved multiple times, you almost kind of can relate to that customer. You understand where they're coming from, and in return, you can build on that training platform with your guys going, hey, listen, we're going in there. You're not just going, oh, geez, thanks a lot. Here's a 5-bedroom house. It's let's empathize with this customer. You don't know what they're going through, whether it's a divorce or someone's passed away, or they're just changing lifestyles, right? They're upgrading or they're downgrading. You don't know where they're coming from, but you know, sometimes as movers, you forget to empathize with your customer.
Yeah, you know, and that's something that you always need to remain mindful of. You know, it's like death, divorce, moving. You know,
Sure.
You can't take anything personal. So you have to realize that majority of America, they have a hard time with emotions. So if you can walk in that door and just realize that nothing's personal, it's a stressful day, you know,
Right.
that it goes a lot smoother for everybody involved.
Totally.
So
Yeah, and
Now
I
you
always
guys, go ahead.
well, I said I always tell our guys, before they go out, I say go out and make a friend today. Go
Right.
out and be
Okay,
of
I like it.
service, make a friend.
you may be a therapist. You
Yeah.
may be, you may wear many hats today.
Yeah,
But
you might be a shoulder to
Just
cry on, whatever it may be. Just go make a friend and have
right.
fun and make this a good experience for them.
Just
And
don't try and date the customer.
no,
whatever you do
Yep.
on off hours, that's on you. But
That's right. Yeah. Now,
Not
you guys have some great swag. And for our listeners out there that are just listening on, the Landon and Amanda's company called Miracle Movers, their shirts, I love their hats. They have these dollies with a box on it and some wings. Their shirts have a little halo around it showing, that it's going to be like the best angelic move that they've ever experienced. They move like they
it's
have
gonna be a
wings on it.
miraculous event.
Right.
divine.
Divine. A divine
Miraculous.
experience.
Yeah.
But at the flip side is, when you're starting off a moving company, trying to pick out that name, it's the questions I've had with a couple moving companies. You go with, sometimes your own last name because you really want to have that, right? Like it doesn't work for me. Like I feel like if I went with Hershey Moving and Storage and they had to go with my spelling and the mixture of my last name, they're like, why aren't you a chocolate bar? Why is it spelled this way? It just doesn't work. It doesn't fly for myself. But then others go and they sit there and they try and figure out, okay, what am I going to go with as a business name? Right? Back in the day, you always wanted to go with a name that started with an A. Why? Because you're going to be top of the line in the phone books. Or they would go with like 123 Movers because you knew that you're actually going to be ahead of the A's to go at. Nowadays, you just need a good website, a good domain, and away you go. Like it's like obsolete. You can have anything. I remember when a moving company came out called You Move Me, I was like, well, they're at the very bottom. That company starts with a Y. But in your situation, when I look up Miracle Movers, it's a used name, right? It's a name that many moving companies have used. It's probably even harder to trademark. So here I am as a moving company. I'm figuring out my business name, and I get nervous because I'm thinking, well, I want to expand. I need to have a name that services, all across North America. But
Right.
you have miraclemoversutah.com. You're defined almost in Utah. What made you guys go with Miracle Movers? Did you guys put some research into how I want to pick this as a company name when you started, or was it just I'm going to wing it?
Yeah, so I came up with the company name in the beginning, and I did some market research. They're on the East Coast, many thousands of miles away from us. There is a chain, Miracle Movers. In the Western United States, there probably isn't another Miracle Movers within a 1,000-mile radius, from what I could tell back in the day. I chose Miracle Movers because there's a lot of branding that can play off of that. Our dollies with wings, our halos, our employees' uniforms have wings on the back of the shirt.
Oh, cool.
And so we're in a very religious market here in Salt Lake City. And I felt like that name, it's catchy, rolls off the tongue well. And I think it would play well to our local audience here in Utah. And so back in 2018, I wasn't thinking about national expansion at that time. I was just trying to service the community at that point. And so that's where I came up with the name. I thought about the last name thing, but my last name is Franchow, and it sounds ugly. It doesn't roll off the tongue well. And I've never even been a fan of my own last name. So
I guess our corporate name has our last name.
Well, yeah. Miracle Movers is the DBA, but I just there was a lot of thought that went into that, and I had a little bit of an aha moment with like the angel wings and the halo and the imagery behind our company, and that's when I had that epiphany, and I said, this is what I'm going to stick with.
Utah is an extremely religious state, and so people eat it up. They love it. Like
Yeah,
let us make you a believer. Like I have a distinct memory of this customer that I was servicing, and she truly treated it like a spiritual event. She was like, my husband just passed away and I'm downsizing after that, and I saw Miracle Movers, and then I saw the last four of your phone number was 1363, and that's the address number to my new home. And in that moment, I just knew. I just knew. And that's why she hired us, because like that weird connection. So
yeah.
Some people truly treat it like a spiritual event.
And it's a very regular basis. If somebody needs help immediately, either same day or next day, without fail, they call and just say, "Hey, we need a miracle," right? They say it all the time if they're in a pinch, and we're happy to.
Or my favorite thing to say is, "Well, I have one more miracle left today."
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are really just eating that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. We really try. We try to do really well with like branding and just here in the local market. It's worked out really well for us.
Yeah, I love how, when you looked at the area that you're in, you looked at the demographic. Being from growing up in Salt Lake City, you chose a name that was going to be completely relatable to the area that you're in. And with the way you guys have branded it, the way you have all these great taglines, I would think that it's been such as you're saying, an amazing and positive response to your customers, that they automatically go, "Oh, I need a miracle. I need Miracle Movers," which is great. Now, Amanda, when you met Landon, he's got this moving company. Was it, "Hey, I'm staying, you stay in your lane and I'll stay in my lane and we'll meet for dinner and that's it"? Or was it something where Landon's like, "Hey, I'd really want to bring you in"? How did that dynamic work when you decide to come into the moving world?
Yeah, I don't think I decided. I he had to pull me like by my ankles, like kicking and screaming quite a bit.
Gotcha.
I think when we started dating, Miracle Movers was like what, 3 or 4 months old?
About 4 or 5 months old. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I was at a day job, and I have an extensive background in finance. So I was working at a loan company at the time, and I really loved my job at that time. So I think about a year later, I started to do some of the financy stuff with Miracle Movers, just like on the couch after my day job. I would like help him with payroll and the bookkeeping and stuff like that. And eventually there came a time where I kind of lost passion for my job, but I'm not entrepreneurial in spirit. And so that's why I say Landon had to like pull me by my ankles, because it's scary for me. Like being a business owner is scary. And, I'm more analytical. I'm not like as big of a risk taker. So it was a big leap for me to join Miracle Movers. I just celebrated my 2-year anniversary with Miracle Movers and at the end of September. So, I've been in it from like a relationship standpoint the whole time, but full time at Miracle Movers, it's been 2 years. So, it's honestly the best decision I've ever made, though. In hindsight, I wish I would have joined Landon sooner, because, the freedom that we have and the ability that we have to make our own dreams come true and be of service to the community. It's so fulfilling. It's exhausting, but fulfilling.
Well, that leads me into the other question, which is, who is the boss at work and at home? I don't know if for those listeners, it's Amanda pointing at herself.
We and we can clash from time to time, and that's okay. We're able to separate work discrepancies from our relationship and not let it distract us from how much we love each other. And we're able, in the beginning it was a little difficult, but we've really been able to like separate business and personal, because obviously there are things we disagree on all the time, and we're able to have a constructive debate. Sometimes voices are raised, but that's okay. But because we're really passionate about what we do, and so but
ultimately I'm the boss.
Ultimately.
Final answer. She's the boss. But then how do you guys maintain that work-life balance? Because wake up, it's, hey, we have these trucks to head out. I got to go see these appointments. I got this happening. I got that happening. 8 o'clock comes around. There's a job that's not finished. It's sometimes in the moving world, like people don't understand. It's not 9 to 5. Someone's still moving at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night for, to try and get into their house, get their bed set up. And as a business owner, there's times where, a guy calls in sick or a situation happens, you got to jump out there. Now, as a couple, do you segment time out of your day, like throughout the day, or just generally in the evenings where you're saying, okay, like there's no moving talk anymore. I'm done. Let's just focus on this. Do you guys find like you have to have date nights? What do you guys do to get away from that work?
So,
sorry.
So,
Go ahead.
We really have a clock in and clock out time here. We get here at 8 a.m. We leave at 6, Monday through Friday. Sometimes we come in off hours. It happens being a business owner. There is like work-life separation, basically pre-operations manager and post-operations manager.
Right.
Getting an operations manager within our company and setting up his processes and let him run with them and handle the recruiting and disciplinary and scheduling and claims. And, he's our quarterback. His name is Andrew. Before him, we had no work-life balance.
In all reality, we don't have a ton of it, right? Because Miracle Movers is like our life. So we'll leave and we'll be like, okay, clocking out, nothing. But then we'll talk about like a future dream, and then it somehow like segues back to business, and we're like, oh wait, crap, we're talking about business again. We got to stop.
That's.
But I think you guys are right. Especially when you guys are coming on 5 years in the business, and so
5 years in June, actually.
5 years in June, which is amazing.
This past June,
so 5.5 years.
This past June, okay. And when you're trying to operate a business, especially as an entrepreneur, you're going, oh man, I got all my ideas. I'm trying to juggle everything as I'm trying to build it up, and financially to make that leap to say, okay, we need an operations manager. We have to have that clock in, clock out, because the reality is that your 8 a.m. start time doesn't even work anymore. It's more like 6 a.m. before that operations manager. It's more like, 10 p.m. when you don't have that operations manager that's kind of managing situations that he's supposed to be doing. So in business, would you say that that's like a key aspect as you're growing? Did you find yourself getting to a certain point at, year 2 or year 3 where you're like, okay, I need an operations manager?
Yeah. So, once we started to scale up and we got in this new building and got more trucks, and it became absolutely unmanageable for us to do it all. Before Andrew, our operations manager, I was mostly doing operations, claims, handling the guys. She was mostly in sales, accounting. I think we both kind of tackled marketing head on, but it became too much for us to handle, and we've come to realize that in order to scale our business, we must, document all the processes and start taking some hats off.
Well, and also to maintain our sanity too, right? It's a blessing to work with your spouse, but it can be hard. That's undoubtable. Like anybody.
Hold on. Can you repeat that again?
Oh,
it's a what to work with your.
It's a blessing, but you have to be emotionally strong, and you have to be able to set clear boundaries. When me and Landon are at work, we realize that we're different people in the workspace, right? And we don't take anything personal. But I also think that increases our efficiency, because we're able to just hash it out and make decisions quickly, because quite frankly, we're able to be just clear with each other.
Nice.
Blunt. Very blunt.
Would you say that's a great attribute to have, like a characteristic, to be like, look, you're working with your spouse, you guys have to be blunt and straightforward?
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to be able to not take the bluntness personal, because at the end of the day, like, we are both passionate for the same goal. It's not like me versus him. It's us like tackling the issue. So when you remember that you're on the same team, there's no like me versus him. it's like us against the world, right?
Sure.
So,
Now, from my experience, because we're going to segue back to having a company in a very religious area,
uh-huh.
but I'm also going to touch on the fact on, when we hire new employees, we always search for a certain look, right? Let's be honest. You could show up to a customer's place with three guys in a truck, and two out of the three guys look like pirates that you would never want them delivering your mail, let alone in your house. Hiring that right person is key. And sometimes it's just unfortunate, right? Like this is the reality of society. We live in a very judgmental world, right? I think the first time I met Landon, I would be like, oh, dude, is this guy, part of like a gang? I'm
Yeah,
joking.
like
I'm joking. But it's one of those things, right? And for the listeners that are just listening to us, they haven't checked out the video. Landon's got some like killer tattoos that I think are very defined, and they have stories, and like mini tattoos, they all have stories about your life, or sometimes just random ones that you lost a bet on. But it's tough to find those clean cut guys. So how has the ride been for yourself as a business owner, where before you had Amanda maybe going out to customers' houses, you're going out to customers' house to do an estimate. Did you have any obstacles for yourself? And for the other listeners, there's probably lots of guys out there that are running moving companies, and they have tattoo sleeves, leg tattoos, maybe like a face tattoo, like who knows, right? But did you face any kind of obstacles, especially now, being in a very religious city? Here you are with like miracle movers, and but you also have like a neck tattoo. So do you have any experiences or situations that you've ran into where you're like, oh man?
I've never had anybody openly say anything about my tattoos. If I can obviously dress well, I wear like slacks, nice shoes, long sleeve under my polo. I do cover up a little bit. Obviously, I have a gigantic neck tattoo that I just can't hide.
Right.
I have one on my hand as well. There's a couple that I just can't hide. And I don't let that hold me back. I'm out to prove a point that somebody can, decorate their body with artwork and be successful. And so I don't let that idea, because if I tell myself that when I walk into a customer's house that they're judging me, it's gonna affect my performance. And so obviously there are some highly religious people that may feel a certain kind of way, or especially the older generation, because when they were growing up, the only people that had tattoos were bikers and criminals, and you know what I mean? And they grew up in a different generation. And I just, tattoos are becoming more and more acceptable as time goes on. And so, I'm not going to let it hinder, my confidence. If I can go in there with a shining personality and being helpful to people, I feel like most people with common sense can look past that. And so
now I just go out and I wear an angel halo costume.
Right.
Amanda,
I'm just kidding.
Amanda, she doesn't have very many tattoos. If I have a feeling, like if I have a gut feeling when I'm setting up an estimate of it's a very elderly person, or say we look at their house on the MLS and there are some decorations that give away that they're like that, I can send Amanda to it if I feel like it's gonna if it's gonna win us the job. And so
I did just get a hand tattoo like a few months ago, but it says "breathe in God," so I feel like it's.
Oh, so that's the hand that goes out when you pass them the pen and you slide on the paperwork and you go, here, just sign here. Yeah. Well, and I appreciate you being open and honest about it, because has that also helped when you're doing the hiring as well, because you're going, look, I'm more going based on, possibly the experience or just who that individual is, as opposed to what they look like.
No, we hire based on personality. Right. So we don't even hire on experience anymore. If somebody comes in and they have a great personality, they're a go-getter, and they and we get that vibe from them in the interview process, like we'll train them how to be a good mover. We hire totally for personality at this point. And if they have tattoos, that's okay. I to be quite honest, like once the move's booked and scheduled on move day and movers show up and they have tattoos, like it's not like they're going to cancel. It's just if they have a good personality, that's really what we look for.
Yeah, we don't. We'll hire people with tattoos. That's not something that we even think about, to be honest. I mean, look at our owner, one of our owners. Right. So, I mean, mind you, it's probably going to be a different story if there's something offensive like on their cheek or something. But
sure. And have you run into situations with customers that, if you had a job that was taking place and the customer's phoning you after going, oh, it was the guy with the tatties, he stole something from my house, compared to the clean cut person, mover that's standing next to him that probably did steal it, but it's not, they're not presented that way.
There's definitely those judgmental people out there. We had an employee that had, I want to say it was like a skeleton, like bones or something on his hand. And I swear whenever a customer would call, they always said the guy with the skeleton hand. And I knew exactly who they were talking. For some reason that was really distinct and popped out to people. But I mean, Landon's got a pistol, so what?
Right.
A literal handgun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pick and choose which tatty you want to blame after.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, on your website, which I love, you have some real awards from Salt Lake City, being in the top 3 business awards for best service. You also have an A rating with the BBB. But one of the other pages that I stumbled on was an affiliate page. So here I am. I'm a moving company owner. I do not have a lot of work coming in. I am struggling. Economy is going to shit right now. No one's moving, and we're about to walk into winter season. This affiliate program, what made you guys think of having this page? And can you elaborate a little bit more on it with, for those listeners and those that are watching, how does that process work? Because for myself, I think, oh man, like this is like Google spreadsheets. Like I'm gonna go crazy. I gotta track this and I gotta track that person and this realtor, and it just sounds like a whole heap of more work for somebody else in my office and for myself. So, like, how did that process go? Because I love the idea.
Yeah, I'll let Landon speak on that.
Yeah, I tried to roll out an affiliate program years ago, and you're right. It's a very tedious thing to keep up with. It's a process that requires a lot of attention. We didn't start the affiliate program until we signed up with SmartMoving, which they have it built into their platform to where somebody can sign up as an affiliate. They have a dashboard, and if they want to refer somebody, they just enter a few simple details like name, phone number, address, like zip code they're moving from and to. It comes right through as a lead, and then we work the lead.
And it links it to that affiliate. Yeah. So it makes it easily trackable, which is great. So, each affiliate that we set up, they get their own, portal or dashboard, so to speak, where they actually will input, who they're referring. So it links them to it. And that's cake, right? So, the affiliate program is awesome. We're able to track that pretty easily and build our relationships in the community. Most of the affiliates that we see right now are like realtors,
property managers,
people like that. So they want somebody that they can refer and that they trust. So it makes it so easy for them, and it takes a lot of the legwork out, just being able to go on their phone, pop their client's info in, and it pops up as a lead in our system, and we're able to go ahead and reach out to their client.
And have you found that this has increased your business by having this, or like this offering of, hey, go check out our affiliate page and make it easy?
It helps. Yeah, it's not like our top performing lead source, but when those come in, it's really great. We give a 5% kickback to the referee when the job is done for the revenue generated from the job, and we even sign our own employees up. If our employees know somebody that's moving, their affiliates. And so it's easy to track. It's easy to stay on top of, and that's what I like about it, because staying on top of a program like that can be difficult.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So no big sponsorship plug, but hey, if you're using SmartMoving, there is an affiliate, option on there, which can really help your website, help build up your clientele, and also get a better tracking on there. So check it out. And if you're not with them, really it sounds like, yeah, or you use a Google spreadsheet. I think, depending on what kind of CRM system you're using, I think that's always key. So keep yourself organized. It can definitely work. Now, we have a warehouse, right? So I'm a moving company. I got a warehouse. I got a yard, because you need to have a yard to park your trucks, especially if you got 4 or 5, maybe 20 trucks. So you have all this land. But my warehouse isn't busy. Now, you guys got creative. Can you elaborate a little bit on where I'm leading into and going, how can me as a business owner go, how am I going to fill my warehouse? How am I going to utilize some of my land that I have, these trucks parking? Because my trucks are just parked. They're not making me any money. What did you guys do?
So I right off the bat, our facility came with almost an acre of yard space. It's huge. And, we don't have enough trucks to fill it up. And so it was just sitting there costing us money, basically. So I started putting some ads out on like Facebook, local classified sites. I didn't really want to spend a ton of marketing to try to find people to park there. But Amanda brought up neighbor.com, which is almost like Airbnb for...
It's just basically like a marketplace.
Yeah.
And, we have such a great location because we are pretty much right down the street from the Salt Lake City airport. And so people love to park here, especially like, truckers and stuff. They park here, take an Uber to the airport, and we'll just like leave it here. We have a lot of like temporary parking where they'll like rent for a month and then be out on the road, and, just even campers and stuff like that. So it's been a great way to capitalize on all that property that we have out there just sitting, because we have a bunch of other parking besides the lot. We try to keep our trucks like close to the building just because we like the cameras on them, of course. So honestly, I think we're making quite a bit of money out there in that lot. So if you have a lot or land, like take advantage of it. I'm sure there's a bunch of other websites that you can post your parking spots for rent. I just really like that neighbor one because they have like a protection, like a $1 million protection. So it's kind of like hands off.
I was gonna lead into that one too, right? Because you got some customer that goes, okay, great, I'm gonna park my car or park my camper here for a month, and then they come back and you're like, why is this homeless person in my camper? Or my tire got popped or anything else. So that website basically has that coverage. So
exactly,
and I feel liability,
right.
Yeah,
nice.
So we actually don't let our customers park here just because I don't want that liability. But through neighbor.com, other people parking like semis and stuff, I'm fine with that.
Yep. Nice. And if you can make some extra bucks on it too, why not?
Why
right?
not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just sitting there.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Miracle Movers Utah has over 300 5-star Google reviews, which is an amazing accomplishment for a company that's been around for just over 5 years. I'm moving to Salt Lake City. I'm not, but let's pretend that I am.
Darn it.
And I know, darn it. I actually had a layover in Salt Lake City, and one of my Uber drivers said, this is the safest city you'll ever be in. And I'm like, okay, cool. This is great. Yeah. Now I'm running into you guys, in an elevator. You got your Miracle Movers gear set up. I'm looking for a moving company. You got 45 seconds as we ride this elevator. I want to hear an elevator pitch as we finish off this segment with you two, and go.
Hershey, it's nice to meet Mark Hershey. It's nice to meet you. So we own Miracle Movers. We're one of Northern Utah's top moving companies for the last 5 years in a row. Many awards. we were founded on the basis of being of service and bringing the stress from up here and taking it down here and alleviating that for you. Moving sucks. So we're here to make that easy for you. We offer packing, loading, transport, unloading. We even offer storage and junk removal to help you out. So we're your one-stop shop for all your relocation needs. And let us make you a believer, man.
I love it. And give me another tagline. Give me another tagline because I'm hooked.
Another tagline?
Need a miracle? Question mark.
Or get ready for your divine moving experience. So.
Oh, I love it. Oh, that's great. Oh, I loved having you guys on the show today. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having us, Mark.
It's Landon and Amanda from Miracle Movers, Utah. If you guys are moving in Utah near Salt Lake City or all around the state, make sure you guys check them out. Check out their website, visit them, give them a call. You'll probably have to deal with Amanda. So you'll get a miracle out of it. Awesome, guys. Thank you guys so much. I'm your host, Mark Hershey with Movified, and this is another episode. Tune in next time. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.